Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is June 3rd, and we've got a packed episode for you all with Rocket Pool and Ethereum news. And today we're going to be covering getting closer to the Tokenomics explainer, like a public draft for that. We've also got some talk out of Reddit's rETH critical of what Rocket Pool and some responses to that. We're also going to be talking about some spot ETF developments, and we're going to be talking about the White House vetoing the SAB 121 rule. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start here with the Tokenomics explainer. Now, I covered this last week and we talked a little bit about it, so we can actually talk a little bit more about it today. So here, Val says to Samus along for wisdom, I refused Samus's work, mostly accepting, left a few minor edits, commits, also wrote other items more fully, broke apart mega pools and node level penalties, added anti-sock actions, wrote forced exit and forced upgrade sections. Would love a review there. This is the putting it together document. And then Samus says, looks nice to me. I did one more comment, and then there's some back and forth. And let's have a look at the document. This is where we are. So this is FYI, this is currently being ported to a .md file on GitHub. On the RPIP repo, they're formatting and wording changes in doing that. So then it's choose your depth. So you have the top tier, which is like the available for everyone kind of thing, like the high level information. Then we've got the second tier and the third tier as well. Actually, it looks like it's just the second tier, but that's going to be digging into most of the stuff. What I'm going to do today is I'm just going letting you know that there have been updates to this. I'm just letting you know as well that this is getting closer and closer to being a public facing document that we can share with everyone on our social medias and like other networks and stuff. But we're getting very close now. So just a couple of things. The first part is that the idealized original concept, what should the current tokenomics work like? Sadly, they're not working. So then there's the issue here of how they're not working, and then after that, there's a lot of discussion about what the current, the new proposal should be, and what it should look like. So here, I'm going to be breaking into the different bond requirements, the different places that the yield is going, and all of that stuff. I'll be giving you a whole lot of information about that once it's ready. We're very close to that now. And then in the second tier, that's where you get the real detail. The top tier is just the first couple of pages. The second tier is the next 3 or 4 pages, I think. No, the next 13 pages. So I'll be going through this whole report with you all, this whole document with you all in a couple of days' time. Once everything's ready and we're ready for the public, I'll also be making summarizing tweet threads about this to share out with the world, and I'll be making posts on Reddit's ethfinance as well to get the word out. So I'm really excited about sharing this with everyone. The link for the document is below if you want to start reading it now. There's some really, really cool stuff. So definitely give it, definitely check it out, and you'll see just how exciting things are going to get for Rocket Pool with these upgrades. I think it's going to be really awesome to see. So yeah, great job to Val, Samus, Long for Wisdom, and everyone else involved with that. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Okay, moving back to the Discord here for a second. Knoshua posted in governance today saying that forum posts are up for RPIPs. So there's 3 different RPIPs that I've now got on forum posts. So it says node distributor user fund unbundling, MEV penalty guardrail, and balance submission guardrail. So let's have a look at these. So the first one here is the distributed user fund unbundling. So it says this official discussion, blah, blah, blah. It says this RPIP is about the node distributor known as the fee distributor, the place where execution layer rewards go for people not in the smoothing pool. Currently, anyone can distribute those awards, but the node operator can block others from doing so, similar to the Houston bug, which is getting fixed. This RPIP aims to apply the same solution here. We'd love to get feedback. No sentiment poll for now to allow for input from the DAO first. And then here we have the MEV penalty guardrail. This is the official discussion for it, blah, blah, blah. It says this idea originally came from my ODAO research that the GMC funded last year and wasn't picked up for Houston. The goal is to limit order power to an appropriate level and massively reduce the trust assumptions for node operators. He said, I'd love to get feedback. No sentiment now, but want detail from the community. And then finally, the balance submission guardrail as well. It says this is the official discussion for this draft RPIP. This is the idea came up from my ODAO research with the GMC funded last year and wasn't picked up for Houston. The goal is to limit the ODAO power and reduce the trust assumptions for our ETH holders. So this was really cool stuff. I need to dig into these draft RPIPs. I've not had the time to do that yet, sadly. And then I'll be getting involved in this discussion. But if you want to do that yourselves, follow the links in the description below to these forum posts, and then you can follow the links from there to the draft RPIPs and share your ideas and thoughts. I'm sure Knoshua and others would love to hear them. Okay, yesterday in Reddit's ethfinance page, there was a whole lot of discussion about Rocket Pool, the protocol, and RPL, the token, and sadly, there was a lot of bad feeling about it. So, Itor at Astra said, when people told me RPL is a leveraged ETH, I thought they meant leveraged long, not short. 59% down versus USD, 80% down versus ETH in a year. This is 85% measuring down from just over a year ago. He says this will be the final reminder of why I won't buy anything except ETH ever again, no matter how smart of an idea I think it is. So a whole lot of people then were kind of echoing Ad Astra's comments here. So Ikoluko said, same, I'd already had that rule before but made the exception for RPL. And here Ledger Throwaway says the tokenomics always made no sense, just a mechanism to transfer value from node operators to the team. And the ODAO, remember everyone who dissented and revealed the truth got downvoted here and on ETH Staker. There was some responses, and I'll leave you guys to read all those. Here, Needless says I put 15% of my ETH stack in and at 60% down from ratio highs. Proceeded to lose, no, that was already 60% down from the ratio highs, and then proceeded to lose another 60% of the ratio. He says this is my biggest crypto fuck up so far. And then there were a whole bunch of other people here as well that had similar comments. Yeah, it was really rough. Epineph here said remind me for 1 year. Actually, I should click that as well, because I would love a 1 year reminder for this, and see what Rocket Pool is doing like at that time. And yeah, Jasper came in six soldiers here and had a few responses. And there were some of those really good. He actually had one high-level response that I can get to here. Let me see. Yeah. So he said, there's some strong valid criticism of RPL today. I would like to acknowledge that much of it is true. The RPL token did not live up to its Atlas hype and has retraced nearly completely. It's actually more than completely retraced. This is the lowest it's been since the project went live. He says, however, last year things changed. Since November of last year, Tokenomics revamp effort has dominated the Discord and forums. The public document is nearly complete. The initial RPIPs are drafted. That's Rocket Pool improvement proposals. This RPL is changing. RPL will no longer be a collateral token, but instead it will have a direct value capture. We will no longer publish nodes. Stake with just ETH if you so desire. So this was a very well received post from Jasper, and people kind of got into the discussion with it as well. So if you want to follow that discussion as well, you're welcome to do that. Jasper also wrote a tweet thread about this, pretty much word for word for what he said on Reddit. And then people were actually like, it got like 162 likes on Twitter, and people actually responded to it really positively, saying like things like, this is great to hear. There was like the RPL token was the thing that prohibited me from getting in. Stable Scarab says, I tried to explain this last year, but nobody listened. And Jasper says, you'll be quite happy with the changes. Jonas here says, huge thank you, Jasper. Rocket Pool is such an awesome product, and RPL has always been this huge anchor dragging it down. ETH staking is about ETH, always has been. I really hope it's not too late. Every kind of first mover advantage Rocket Pool has had has completely gone now. And Jasper says we're starting the greatest staking protocol in all of crypto, and this time it will be with the lessons learned of the previous 3 years. So there was a whole lot of positivity on Twitter, more than there was on ethfinance. I think people in ethfinance was like already in kind of a like negative mindset about Rocket Pool, and justifiably so for in a lot of ways. But Jasper is like fighting the good fight, getting the word out there. And once the new tokenomics document is ready, then I'll be doing the same thing and getting the word out there as well. So really hoping that it's not too late, of course, as always. Hopefully, we'll have big developments coming in the next months, and 6 to 9 months hopefully will be a completely different protocol. Hopefully that will be in time to capture some of the bull run movement, which would be really exciting. Okay, moving on. Next, we have a proposal here from Hi saying let's get high on rETH. So HAI, not HIGH. This is a protocol that is, they have USD denominated stablecoin. You mint it by depositing your LSTs. It's kind of like Gravita. It's a fork of Liquidity. While they're adding a proposal to add rETH as one of the collaterals. I feel like a while ago we used to have like episodes about new rETH integrations like every day. Well, now it's Hi's turn to do that. And then say voting is starting in 4 hours from when I'm recording. So if you have Hi governance, I guess you can take part in onboarding rETH to that. I'll give you all updates on what happens with that. Jasper actually had a really funny post about Hi, because they kind of like lean into this, getting high language. And he said, if all the LSTs were drugs, rETH definitely would be a semi-indie, not quite mainstream, allegedly good for you, but who really knows psychedelic. STETH is beer, full of bloated calories that your average frat bro will drink and not really care about. CBETH is corporatized, overhyped, yet fairly popular garden variety edible weed. And he says Frax ETH is maximizing yield at all costs, as if burning an accelerant. Meth and vanilla staking is caffeine, probably green tea. So I really like that post from Jasper. So I'd give it a shout out. Okay, we've got an update from Moist OwlBear. Moist OwlBear, for those of you who don't know, is of course a Rocket Pool node operator, but he also works in the Ronin community with Axie Infinity and that bridge that they have with those games. So he, for those of you who don't know, is working on a proposal to change the treasury ETH from the Ronin bridge / network into LSTs, so it's earning yield, kind of the way that Blast did, but through a smarter way, I guess. And he says, despite much sad ratio, I come to update you on my Ronin Ether staking proposal update. He says, I've reached part 2 of my journey to make the proposal happen. I've written a new doc explaining which third-party services we'll be using and how they will be implemented. There's also a decision to be taken around the set of validators selected to stake the bridge's ETH. So here is a document that we can have a look at. And this is called Third-Party Services, Stakewise, NodeSet, and Rocket Pool. So it says the abstract, this part focuses on all the services that we'll be potentially using to support the Ethereum side of the rep 0009 staking service. Stakewise will be necessity in our infrastructure as it allows a permissionless and nearly trustless flow, requires validators not malevolently behave while validating on behalf of the Ronin Bridges ETH. NodeSet is a group of curated high uptime validators already attesting on Ethereum, either as solo stakers or via decentralized protocols. Rocket Pool is another choice that would serve as a hedge against potential bad actions on the primary stack and instant liquidity if necessary to withdraw. So here, Moist OwlBear then gives information about Stakewise and NodeSet and also then Rocket Pool. So if you are interested in learning about Ronin and what they're doing, what they might do with Rocket Pool, give this document a read, reach out to Moist OwlBear, and I think you'll get some really good feedback here. So you'll get some really good information here. So I think I'm really excited about this, and I hope Rocket Pool and rETH features very strongly in this. Okay, moving back to the Rocket Pool Discord here, Ramana here put out a feeler. He says, if I was doing the verifereum project as a for-profit startup, might you be interested in being a co-founder? React, thumbs up if so. So what Ramana is doing here is he has a project called verifereum, which is about doing formal proofs of smart contracts on Ethereum. And he actually presented this at Denver Liftoff, the Rocket Pool conference that we had in Denver during ETH Denver. And I guess he's looking to potentially change it into a for-profit program. If you are interested in getting involved, reach out to Ramana about that. And then he says, on his GitHub, it says, prove functional correctness of Ethereum smart contracts in higher order logic. This is a work in progress. So what he wants basically is someone to help him along with the process. And if you're interested in doing that, definitely reach out to Ramana. Okay, next, something kind of funny happened a couple of days ago in Discord, where people were trolling bots and scammers in the Discord. So for those of you who don't know, the Rocket Pool Discord is full of bots and people who are scammers. It's kind of horrible, but it's just the reality of having a huge Discord server. And what ends up happening is that from time to time you see a post in the Discord, in trading or elsewhere, where people kind of try to either send you somewhere to interact with a bad contract, or try to get details from you through reaching out by DM or replying to any person who seems to have any kind of help question. So you get this in support a lot, is where if you go to support and you ask a question, you almost always get one or two direct messages coming from that for people trying to offer you support, in which case they'll try to steal your crypto. And what happened is people in trading kind of went troll hunt, or scam hunting. So here, letter said, help, wallet not connecting, MetaMask error, can't stake, Belgium. And then Jasper says this was bot bait, right? And letters laughs, and he says, help, wallet not connecting, MetaMask error, can't stake, Belgium. And he says, didn't reply this time. But what ended up happening was that people these scammers started to reply, and people started catching them basically. So it was really funny. A whole bunch of them ended up getting caught. Some of them got banned and asking for Mig said, trying another wallet, but I don't know how to do it. I have the seed and the private key. This is not a bait message. And then the bot got banned here. And then here, Chaos said, hi, is Rocket Pool support available? And they got a message, and then Kron banned the person as well. So it was actually really funny how many of these people we were able to catch by this phishing expedition. Every time someone tags Kron with an ID, that means that person is going to get banned basically. So it was really nice. Mick says, my family's starving. I lost access to my ledger. I have seed phrase. How can I access it? Please help. And then said I got another DM message, and then there's the ID for it as well. So yeah, it was pretty cool. A whole lot of people got caught. So it was a nice little fun thing that happened. Okay, since it's been over a week now since the IMC vote went live, I thought I'd give you all an update of how it's going. So let's just actually get to the numbers, because you already know what the vote is about. It's a new selection slate for the IMC. So here, Jasper is actually number one with 845 votes, with 11.75% of the vote. Valdorf has 830%, 830 votes, and Pateris is, so those guys are neck and neck basically for first. Pateris is in third at 728, fairly comfortably. Myself and Non-Fungible Yokum are both on 680 votes, so we're right behind, well, a little bit behind Pateris, and then on the exact same number of votes. And then Samus and Hululo are pretty much on the same votes as well, at 639 and 629. After that, there's a bit of a gap with Phil at 486, Dr. Worm at 472, and then Astanito, Dukey, and Lee are not in the winning positions at the moment, and they're on 435, 410, and 355. So we've had a bunch of the big votes that have come in. Here we, Joe hasn't voted yet, and Joe, of course, is one of the big delegates. So I'm surprised that Joe hasn't voted yet, but hopefully he'll vote soon. But yeah, it's looking like the top 9 is pretty much set now, I think. So that's pretty cool. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now. We have this new website here called this new website here called the Ethereum Roadmap, and it actually tells you where we are with the different areas of the roadmap, how it's all looking, and it tells you, like, which has been done and where we stand now, and like where we're expecting future upgrades to come. So for the merge, for example, it tells you that some of the stuff that's done, all the colors that you can see on the screen are things that are done, and then every few seconds, like, these black sections flash up on the screen, and they tell you basically what's coming up next. So with the merge, for example, we've got, some of the stuff was done outside of the protocol, some of it was done pre-Shapella, some of it was done in Shapella, some of it was in Denkun, and some of it's going into Pectra. So that's the pinky, peachy color. And then the black one is ongoing research. So for example, for the surge, that's like some of the stuff is outside of the protocol, some of it went into Denkun, and some of it is ongoing research. The Scourge, it's the same idea. So you're getting a really good sense now of what is going to go on where. And then you can have a look at the hard fork timeline as well, of when the different hard forks were, and when it all looked like happening. So this is really cool. You can actually look at it in the diagram. This is, the famous diagram from Vitalik with the roadmap, and it kind of gives you an interactive way of seeing what's been done and what's not been done and what's coming up later. It's actually, and what each section kind of means. So for example, for the merge, it says have an ideal, simple, robust, and decentralized proof of stake consensus. The surge, it says the goal is 100,000 transactions per second and beyond on rollups. This is for the Scourge. Mitigate centralization concerns in Ethereum proof of stake design, partly around MEV and liquid staking pooling. With the Verge, it says a block should be super easy. Download N bytes of data, perform a few basic computations, verify a snark, and you're done. With the Purge, it says simplify the protocol, eliminate technical debt, and limit costs of participation in the network by clearing old history. And the Splurge, fix everything else. So this is really cool that you've got all this in one place now. It tells you where we are, what's been done, what's still working on, and how much of the work is done for all of those things as well. So if you are very interested in the Ethereum roadmap and all the amazing things that are coming up, I implore you to check this diagram, check all the different sections and see what's going on there. And like I said, you can click on each of the sections and have a look there as well, and get information of what happened in all the different hard forks for these sections. So for example, for secret leader election, which is an ongoing research box, it tells you what's going on. So single leader election and secret single leader election are used somewhat interchangeably in both attempt to resolve the same issue. A block proposer is known to the network slightly in advance of proposing the block. It is therefore security and vulnerability during this window, where the proposer may be targeted by attackers. Under this new framework, nobody would know the leader in advance except for the leader themselves. So it's pretty cool that this is all happening. So definitely check out this website. There's a lot of really cool details on here, and it looks really nice as well. So really huge congrats to the team who put this out. I don't actually know much about it. I don't know who came up with it. Let me see if there's any information so I can give them a shout out. Dope crypto sites, I guess, and TJK and ETHWave. So they're the ones who updated it last. So huge shout out to all of those people. Okay, a little bit of news about the ETH ETF now. This is the spot ETF. So it looks like we're getting some feedback from the SEC. From the filers about the work that they've put into the SEC. We're starting to see the S1s. Most of these were submitted on Friday last week, of course. So for example, Franklin filed an updated version of its spot Ethereum S1, and it discloses that it will be charging a 0.19% fee. So that's actually a really competitive fee. But if you look at some of the Bitcoin ETFs, and they're the only ones who put their numbers out so far, but it seems like it won't be too much more than that, maybe 0.25%, I think. And of course, it depends on what Grayscale set their fees at. If they keep them high, then they'll get the same outflows that they did with the BTC ETF. If they keep their fees low enough, though, there's a chance they'll be able to hold on to much more of their assets under management. BitMEX here had a really interesting idea. So here, they're replying to Eric Balkunas. It says the opening shot in the ETH ETF war has been fired from Franklin, 19 basis points. And then BitMEX says a good move from an ETH ETF provider may be a zero-fee product. Try to accumulate assets, and then when the SEC allows staking years down the line, charge a fee on the staking income to generate profits. So basically, the idea BitMEX have is that you get as many assets under your control as possible. You entice users by offering a feeless product, and then what you do is use that those assets that you have to convert them into staking, and then you skim a part of the reward off the top, and people will be much happier with that, and they'll be much more likely to stay with you because you have the assets under management. So that's a really interesting idea. I'm not sure if we will see any zero-fee products. We might see some zero-fee periods of maybe 3 months or 6 months, but I don't think any of them will be willing to say zero fees for a timeline that's longer than that. Okay, we had a big issue on the layer 2 this week, and this was from Linea. This is the layer 2 that is coming out of the team from Consensus. Of course, they work with Infura and MetaMask, so everyone knows who they are. But Linea, the layer 2, had a halting. That's because one of the apps was hacked. So it says, update on the Velocore incident. The Velocore DEX was exploited. Our teams have been employing our ecosystem security measures to mitigate the damage from this attack. More info in this thread. So they said linear networks remain secure. This only affected a third-party DApp. So basically there was this app, Velocore, that was hacked. And what they ended up doing is they blocked it, they halted the chain, and people were kind of really angry about this and kind of frustrated and upset. And basically they said Linea's team made a decision to halt block production by pausing the sequencer and censor attacker addresses to protect the users and builders in our ecosystem. Like other L2s, we're still in the training wheels phase of existence, giving us safeguards to use. So the idea was, should they have used these safeguards? This removes a lot of the security of layer 2. So security is a really funny word in this sense, right? So security can mean, are your funds secure? Now, are your funds secure? If your protocol that you've got your funds in gets hacked, will your funds stay safe? That's one kind of security. Another kind of security is that you expect the network to be up and running at all times, producing blocks at all times, and making sure the network itself can't be attacked. So I think what's happening is here, these two different ideas of security are kind of being meshed together in a way that is kind of blurring the lines between what we mean by security when we talk about blockchains. And I think that isn't good. The censoring addresses, of course, that makes sense. I think another layer 2 did that as well before, where an address was censored and it was blocked, and they could only send the funds back to where they exploited them from or something along those lines. Basically what happens is anytime a transaction is submitted from the hacking address, that's just not picked up by the mempool. They just don't, there's no way to get that transaction processed. That's a good way of blocking transactions, right? So that might have been a better way of doing it instead of taking down the whole chain. But I think this just helped people realize just how early layer 2s are and how much control the teams still have over them. We really need those stage 2 rollups like yesterday. Sadly, there was a lot of FUD that went around because of this as well. Let me see if I can show you some of the replies. So people just talking about, there's not anything smart here. But it's definitely something to keep in mind when you're interacting with the layer 2. Even though, you think it might be safe, only put play money in there for now, because bad things can still happen. Okay, last week we talked about Matter Labs and how they got a lot of blowback from the community because they wanted to use ZK as a trademark, and kind of had this idea about giving it to the Ethereum Foundation to let them use it and control it and just not enforce it. But the idea was to not let it fall into the hands of any bad actors. Well, they got a whole lot of criticism from the crypto community. I think ZK as a terminology has been around for 25-30 years, I think. And, it's never been used maliciously by any kind of person trying to trademark it, and this is against the ethos of crypto. So MATLabs put out a statement saying, thank you to everyone reaching out and following our post, offering ideas, support, and feedback. As a result of these conversations, we decided to drop all trademark applications for the term ZK. The discussions came down to one important fact: it would be impossible to agree on a group of people perceived as credibly neutral by nearly everyone. What could have worked for Ethereum would not necessarily work for the entire world. We're proud to be a part of a movement that cares so deeply about cypherpunk values, and we're incredibly grateful to the ZK Sync community in particular for the thousands of messages of support we received, once again affirming that community is everything. ZK Summer is imminent. So Millie here replied by saying good stuff, and then other people are asking for the ZK Sync airdrop, which people are saying should be here next week, maybe this week. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. Okay, talking about layer 2s a little bit more here. So Token Terminal shared this screenshot saying that the layer 2s are scaling Ethereum, and here in the screenshot we can see that Arbitrum's monthly active users has overtaken Ethereum. So Ethereum's monthly active users are around 8 million, and Arbitrum has now gone over 8 million monthly active users. So this is really great to see that the scaling has happened so well. If we have a look at L2 ETH, we actually can see that in terms of activity, we're not quite as high as we were in April, but we're still scaling Ethereum by a factor of 11.5x, which is really nice. I'm really hoping that we can get that up to potentially 100x by the time the bull market is here, which would be really amazing. Okay, Emmanuel Osika had a post here talking about marketing for Ethereum. So this is an idea that's come up over the last few days. I'm going to share some perspectives on this in the next few minutes. But Emmanuel says, if you can, explain EIPs and ERCs, explain Ethereum's strengths and values, and explain Ethereum roadmap items, DM me proof of work for an opportunity to join Ethereum's unofficial comms team. It says, channeling our inner Mert, who works with Solana and the ecosystem over there. It says, by treating crypto Twitter as a jobs board. So this was the idea that kind of came up by people saying, hey, we need marketing, we need communications, we need unified messages, we need to get the word out, we need to really put the right kind of message forward and not just kind of empty bill posting or incorrect information even. Let's do a good job of it. So Emmanuel here is trying to spearhead that. Here Pseudo Theos replied by saying, this looks like fun, good luck with the search. And then a bunch of people were trying to reply saying, hey, I'm interested in helping out, I'd love to contribute. And yeah, so there's like space for everyone as well. So here Harbinger says, GM, you can add me to the team if you need some amateurs with some knowledge and organization skills. So Emmanuel says, we definitely need people with those skills, which is great. And then they're doing video, they're doing text, they're doing the whole lot. So if you are interested, definitely get in touch with Emmanuel. I haven't put my name forward yet, but I might put my name forward for this. Obviously, I make videos, so I could make videos for them. But this is really cool stuff. DC Investor then replied by saying, why do people still talk about Ethereum marketing? He says, there will never be a coherent, unified marketing effort for Ethereum because there's absolutely no authority capable of legitimately pushing one. And that is part of the value proposition. Ethereum is what it's used for. And then Evan says, why could the Ethereum Foundation not market? DC Investor replied by showing the roadmap saying this is marketing. And then Nigel says, just because it is coherent and unified doesn't mean there's no marketing to be done. Ethereum has tons of marketing from Vitalik, Ethereum Foundation core contributors, etc. Nelson had an interesting comment. He says, it's a new cycle. We get to have all of the same discussions all over again. I'm just waiting for when marketing to come back into the Rocket Pool community. That was, of course, one of the, the long-standing comments that we saw from the community. But yeah, this discussion about marketing, I think people are really trying to pay attention to it. Here, Gabriel says, there's really only one good way to fix Ethereum marketing, and it is to ruthlessly focus on the fact that it's the best chain to do whatever you want on without fear of any authority stopping you. All tech development should be geared this way, things like inclusion lists, etc., to further limit even soft censorship. The tech should be bolstered by demonstrable broad, ironclad social consensus against censorship and in favor of punishing those who censor, even through social slashing, etc. And this muscle should be flexed from time to time to really show we mean it. The OFAC moment was a lost opportunity. It says this is Ethereum social alignment people should have been focused on instead of silly FUD about Lido. I can't really imagine Ethereum winning on any other basis. All of its decisions have been geared towards maximization of decentralization and autonomy. If you don't harness that and advertise it and stay true to it, you've wasted an entire development philosophy, and when you could have accepted more centralization and dependencies to get better user experience, performance, etc. Jasper replied by replying to the part about the OFAC moment being a lost opportunity. He said, how was it a lost opportunity? Ethereum has never censored its transaction. If anything, it proved your original point that no entity can stop anyone on Ethereum from doing certain things. So back when the OFAC stuff was happening, we talked about that on Rocket Fuel a lot. And we said that like the worst case scenario is that you'll have to wait a couple of minutes for your transaction to go through. I think that was even if like there was like 95% OFAC complying validators and block producers. It would have been the case that you would have had to wait just a few minutes basically to get your transaction through. So it was a degradation of service instead of a denial of service. And then the manual says as well, like also if you're looking to provide feedback on the ethereum.org's homepage and layer 2 pages, the team is looking for you. Head over to ethereum.org Discord and drop a message in the design channel and get in touch with them. They're looking to update the ethereum.org website, which is good. Okay, next we had a pretty good episode from Bankless today, and this was an episode between Justin Drake of Ethereum and Toly, Anatoly Yakovenko, who goes by Toly on from the Solana. He's a co-founder of Solana, and Justin Drake, of course, is one of the lead Ethereum researchers. So this episode was about 2 hour discussion about the good, the bad, and the ugly of both chains. And they kind of like had a debate format where there were times where they were criticizing each other. There were times where they were steel manning each other's chains, like Ethereum and Solana. It was actually a really good conversation. People are kind of torn between who won this debate. The Ethereum folks all seem to say that Justin Drake won. The Solana folks seem to think that and the Toly won. I think Justin Drake won, but that's just me. But there's some interesting takes here that I thought I could share with you all. So one of the things that Anatoly said was that TVL is kind of a useless metric, and Seraphim here was replying by saying one of the biggest load of BS I've heard in this space over the years is that TVL is a bad metric. You mean committing actual capital at risk of being drugged and hacked, as often happens in crypto, is trivial. TVL is a vote of confidence in your protocol. TVL is great. So Justin Drake made a comment that, TVL on Ethereum is orders of magnitude ahead of Solana. And he said, there's literally billions and billions of dollars of stable coins on Ethereum, hundreds of billions of dollars, I think. And Solana literally has like less than $1 billion, I think, or somewhere in that range. So that was about the TVL. Here, Ism.eth actually had a back and forth with some of the people from the Solana ecosystem. He said, hey, Toly, I was able to watch your debate with Justin Drake. At last point, you claimed that Solana is still 10 times cheaper than layer 2s. Yesterday, Base was 3.3 times cheaper on median fees and 8 times cheaper on average fees than Solana, just for your information. And then they said, let's see a year's worth of data before cherry picking dates. Glad to see Base making progress. And Ism says that there's engineering problems on both sides. Anti-prosynthesis says, are you insinuating that Solana people fake vanity metrics? How dare you? And then there was a whole long discussion that started with Mert, who works with Helios, who is one of Solana's biggest cheerleaders on crypto Twitter. And he says, are you, of course, normalized for traffic, right? And Ism said, I just put the current data as Toly claimed it's 10 times cheaper on the podcast. I didn't claim that I can currently retain the fees if you get similar traffic volume. I think we'll get that anyway. Anyway, that had a whole lot of back and forth with Toly getting involved and everyone. So you can read that discussion there. So that is still happening. And then Hayden Adams had a point as well. He was trying to be more neutral, I guess. He says, cool debate, some hot takes as someone with a fraction of the expertise on most of what was discussed. He said, I agree with Justin that transaction demand would scale way beyond what we see in the world today, and that the future will not be a single state machine. He said, I agree with Toly that Ethereum's biggest headwind is uncertainty in the value of DA long-term, uncertainty in the ultrasound money vision. He says, points to Justin for network effects, research, and long-term thinking. Points to Toly for applications, engineering, and near-term thinking. He says no opinion on issuance as a cost, which is actually a big point that I'll talk about if Hayden doesn't want to. He says the debate there feels more like linguistics than anything else. Is that, of course, we both need versions of scaling, easy left curve, Ethereum seamless interconnected state machine, and Solana's pushing the boundary in what you can do in a single one. So Hayden mentioned this point here about the issuance and how it's not a cost, as Toly was arguing. So this idea, right, like if your protocol is inflating at 5% a year, for example, so Justin gave the example, like, to Toly, if you make $1 million a year in SOL tokens by staking rewards, you pay your taxes. Toly's in California, so his taxes are 50%. So he needs to sell 50% of his SOL to pay for taxes. That is a cost on the network. It acts as a frictional network. Toly was arguing against that, saying no, that's not a cost. What you mean by cost is like Bitcoiners having to pay for electricity and hardware. That's a cost. Justin Drake was kind of shocked by that. I was kind of shocked by that because my thinking is definitely in line with what Justin Drake's saying there, that, issuance is a cost on the network because it acts as a headwind, it acts as a sell pressure. There's no way of denying that, but I guess Toly was trying to argue that. Maybe I don't understand it. Toly's a way smarter guy than I am, but that was definitely there was some interesting stuff there. It did get spicy at times. It was actually a really good listen. So if you are curious about it, go check it out. It's the latest Bankless episode that was out on Monday, June 3rd. It was a good one. Okay, talking about some good things there. Now we're going to go into some bad things. So here we have a message to the House Representatives on the President's veto of HJ Resolution 109. Now, HJ Resolution 109 is the repealing of the SAB 121 bill that Congress and the Senate voted on a couple of weeks ago. And before the vote went through, the executive branch, Biden said that he was going to veto this. That, of course, led to the house of cards of crypto collapsing, or the Democrats, or seeming like it collapsed, leading to the spot ETF approval, also leading to a huge number of Democrats in the House voting for the FIT21 bill. So it seemed like, Biden would go back on his statement of saying that he was going to he was going to veto SAB 121. People kind of like looking for tomorrow was supposed to be the deadline on June 4th. However, on Friday night, which is when, politicians bury bad news, this is when the veto of SAB 121 was announced. So people instantly reacted by saying that Democrats are removing any goodwill that they earned over the last couple of weeks with crypto. There was all these stories of Democrats trying to reach out to crypto people and like get crypto advice and trying to soften their policy on crypto. Well, all of that seems like it was maybe short-sighted. And this here is people were very upset by this, basically. There's some interesting things here about the actual language of this. So my administration will not support measures that jeopardize the well-being of consumers and investors. Appropriate guardrails that protect consumers and investors are necessary to harness the potential benefits and opportunities of crypto asset innovation. So my administration is eager to work with Congress to ensure a comprehensive and balanced regulatory framework for digital assets, building on existing authorities which will promote the responsible development of digital assets and payment innovation and help reinforce United States leadership in the global financial system. Therefore, I'm vetoing this resolution. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with FIT21. That, of course, is the Financial Innovation Technologies Bill that is with the Senate now. So they're going to potentially make changes to that and amendments and then vote on it. If that goes through, and then the House will vote on it again with the amendments. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that, because Biden didn't say that he was going to veto FIT21. He did previously say that he was going to veto SAB 121. So let's see what happens there. Going back to Hayden Adams here, this was kind of an interesting piece of news I broke today. So he says Uniswap protocol fixes this. So for any of you who spend time on Twitter today or any kind of social media, I guess, and in the financial sectors of it, you might have seen that there were some glitches in the New York Stock Exchange. And an insider paper said New York Stock Exchange probing technical issue after some stocks incorrectly show price drops up to 99%. The biggest sufferer of this was Berkshire Hathaway, which of course is the company of fully forgotten his name. it slipped my mind. Warren Buffett. Sorry, there you go. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's company is one of the richest men in the world. His company went down from $627,215 per share to $185 per share. So that was a huge glitch. Trading was halted, and I think they got it fixed a few hours later. But Hayden Adams said Uniswap protocol fixes this. The idea, of course, is that, if there's a pool, a liquidity pool, this kind of issue won't happen at the smart contract level. And that was a nice little shout out from Hayden Adams for his own service there. Okay, and finishing today's episode, of course, this is June 3rd. Today's episode is the first episode of June. So as always, we have a raffle for the contributors of the previous month. This month, we have a huge shout out going to Samus, who is actually the #1 contributor for the first time ever, overtaking Sneaky Ninja Guy. I was joking about this happening a few weeks ago because Samus was like on a blitz for submissions. However, I think I should have won this, but the reason why I didn't was because I was not putting my content, submitting it onto the actual thread. I was just keeping it to myself. So I definitely had more submissions than 17, but I'll leave the Samus with the crown for this month. We should have an NFT that we send back and forth of the person who's like the #1. But anyway, Samus #1 here, which is absolutely wonderful. Congratulations. So as you can see, there are 27 people who contributed. So let me copy this and take it here to the raffle page. So this is the Rocket Fuel contributors raffle created by Hippocrates. Thank you so much, Hippocrates. If I paste the information here, you can see that all the numbers are right. So now I'm going to press go. It's going to give me, I think, 10 results. If I am one of them, which I likely will be, I will skip myself. So Cheers and Wolfie will get $100 each for the work that they do for Rocket Fuel. However, this is the last month Wolfie will be getting the prize because he's not going to do the summaries of Rocket Fuel anymore. That's all done now. He's finished. If anyone wants to take that on, they're welcome to reach out to me and I can put them in touch with Wolfie. So if you want to take over the Twitter summaries of Rocket Fuel, we can keep that going. Otherwise, those will be stopping from today. There won't be one for today's episode. So let's start the raffle and see what happens. We have Lee. Good job, Lee, with 1 ticket getting a prize. And then it's me, then Meg, Jasper, Ramana, Tennis, Samus, Dukey, and Regex Buster and Sneaky misses out on the prize. So a whole bunch of people here with just 1 ticket. Let me see. Lee got 1, and Regex Buster I think had 2 tickets, maybe 1 ticket, which is amazing. Good stuff. And then Tennis I think only had 1 ticket as well. So oh no, he had 4 tickets. Good job, Tennis. Yeah, so this was a bad month for some of the more regular contributors. But I'll be reaching out to get your addresses soon. Of course, like I said, the prizes are $100. Let's see how much that is worth. So RPL right now on Binance is $22.21. So 100 divided by $20.21 is equal to 4.95 RPL each. So I will be reaching out to you all very soon about that and getting that to you all. I haven't actually sent out last month's prizes yet, so I'm very sorry about that. I'll be sending all those prizes out together, hopefully within the next couple of days. I'm also behind on sending out contributor POAPs, so hopefully you'll be getting those soon as well. But on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all had lovely weekends, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.